نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما يؤمن بآياتنا الذين إذا ذكروا بها خروا سجدا وسبحوا بحمد ربهم وهم لا يستكبرون. تتجافى جنوبهم عن المضاجع يدعون ربهم خوفا وطمعا ومما رزقناهم ينفقون. فلا تعلم نفس ما أخفي لهم من قرة أعين جزاء بما كانوا يعملون. أفمن كان مؤمنا كمن كان فاسقا لا يستوون. أما الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم جنات المأوى نزلا بما كانوا يعملون. وأما الذين فسقوا فمأواهم النار كلما أرادوا أن يخرجوا منها أعيدوا فيها وقيل لهم ذوقوا عذاب النار الذي كنتم به تكذبون. ولنذيقنهم من العذاب الأدنى دون العذاب الأكبر لعلهم يرجعون. ومن أظلم ممن ذكر بآيات ربه ثم أعرض عنها إنا من المجرمين منتقمون. Respectful honorable friends, continuing Surah Sajdah. And one of the reasons why it's called Surah Sajdah is because of the ayat of Sajdah. And it is the ayat of Sajdah that has been recited currently as well. Hence there will be the Sajdah that needs to be carried out. In last week's tafsir, or the previous tafsir, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had mentioned with regards to the plight of the disbelievers, their plight in the hereafter, and how they will be dealt with as well. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Qur'an, where Allah ta'ala mentions those who do not believe, Allah ta'ala mentions those who do believe, where Allah ta'ala mentions those who will suffer in the hereafter, Allah ta'ala mentions the reward of those who will be rewarded in the hereafter. So here now Allah Ta'ala describes and mentions the believers. The إِنَّمَا يُؤْمِنُ بِآيَاتِنَا الَّذِينَ, only those who believe in our ayat. إِنَّمَا يُؤْمِنُ بِآيَاتِنَا الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهَا, when they are reminded about biha of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or the verses. So only those people who believe in our ayat, who when they are reminded about them, خَرُّوا سُجَّدًا, they fall in prostration. وَسَبَّحُوا بِحَمْدِ رَبِّهِمْ, they glorify the praises of their Rabb. وَهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ, and they do not behave arrogantly. Their quality is تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ, their sides part from their beds. يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ, they make dua to their Rabb. خوفا وطمعا, in fear and hope. وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and they spend from that which we have provided for them. So Allah Ta'ala mentions the believers. And the condition of the believers is, and Allah Ta'ala mentions إِنَّمَا. إِنَّمَا, which indicates was exclusiveness. That's why the translation will be only those who have iman. So only the believers are those who بِآيَاتِنَا الَّذِينَ إِذَا ذُكِّرُوا بِهَا خَرُّوا سُجَّدًا وَسَبَّحُوا بِحَمْدِ رَبِّهِمْ. That their condition is that, so only those people who truly believe in our ayat are those who, when they are reminded about them, they fall in prostration. And this is an indication of those who yu'minu bi ayatina, those who have iman in the verses of Allah Ta'ala. And why do they fall in prostration out of fear and humility. As the ayahs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has such an effect on them, compared to those who deliberately turn away from the verses of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and those who not only do they do that, but they, without any proof, ascribe towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not only that, but sabbahu bihamdi rabbihim, they glorify the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they do not act arrogantly. وَهُمْ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ. Arrogance is what leads the person towards rejecting the truth, as was mentioned in the Wednesday Majlis. One of the definitions of pride is batarul haq. Ghamtun nas wa batarul haq. Ghamtun nas means to belittle people, to look down at people. And batarul haq means to reject the haq. That person who has arrogance does not do so. The one who has arrogance will not believe the verses of Allah Ta'ala. The one who has arrogance will not prostrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, will not show humility. And falling into prostration, this is something which is out of humility for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in front of Allah ta'ala. And another quality that Allah ta'ala mentions with regard to them is that تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ. Their sides are apart from their beds. What does this mean? The Mufassirin are unanimous that this refers towards the fazilat of Tahajjud Salah. That تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ, their sides apart from their beds, means they sleep less. Refers towards that ibadat that a person does after going to sleep. And this is what Tahajjud means. Juhud, tarukun nawm. Tahajjud refers to ibadat that a person does after they leave their sleep. So what is the ibadah you do during the day? This is tahajjud. Tahajjud is when a person breaks his sleep and then gets up and does the ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Although when it comes to tahajjud itself and getting the reward of tahajjud, because the time of tahajjud begins after Isha Salat, so any person who performs tahajjud anytime after the farz of Isha, they will also get the reward of tahajjud. But the actual greater reward is when a person will sleep and then wakes up. Because that is a lot more difficult. Because here you are actually, tarukun nawm, you are actually leaving and sacrificing your sleep. So this is what is meant with regards to تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ. But at the same time, the Mufassirin have mentioned, and there are also various riwayat indicating towards others as well. In one riwayat is also with regards to that person, Abu Qatada and Abu Dazza radiallahu ta'ala anhuma mentioned, this refers to those people who read the Isha Salat with Jamaat and recite and do the Fajr Salat with Jamaat as well. They will also be included into the Jafa Junubuhum and al-Madaji. Because there are those who will go to sleep after Maghrib Salah, and when they will wake up in the morning. They will not wake up for the time of Fajr, they will wake up in the morning. So these are those people who do not go to sleep after Maghrib Salah. They stay awake till Isha. And some Mufassirin mentioned that it specifically mentions, this refers to those who do not sleep after Maghrib. Because if you're going to sleep after Maghrib, then you're going to most likely miss your Fajr, your Isha Salah. And especially in the season that we are in at the moment, these times when Isha itself is quite late, person is quite tired after Maghrib. Just waiting for Isha, you can fall off to sleep. So that person who doesn't go to sleep, stays awake, waiting for Fajr, is that person who keeps their sides apart from their beds. And then waking up for Fajr itself, and in this season again, just waking up for people in the United Kingdom in the summer times when Fajr is at 4:15. For them just to wake up for Fajr itself is waking up for Tahajjud. Because where there is moderate season, the time of Fajr is the time of Tahajjud in those parts of the world. So for a person to, especially the fact that people in England will read the Isha at 11 o'clock. Now it's coming in, we'll read the Isha at 11 o'clock. So by the time you sleep, not long after that, you're going to wake up for Fajr itself, never mind Tahajjud. There's no time then for Tahajjud, that you can wake up for Tahajjud and then that Tahajjud time is already Fajr time. So they will get the reward as well. So those who stay awake, and then there are those who Mufassir Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, who have mentioned that this refers to those who do any ibadah from the time of after Maghrib. Any time from after Maghrib till the morning will be regarded in this Tatajafa Junubum Anil Madaji. So all those opinions which have been put forward, Sir Mu'az mentions that he was with Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And he asked Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Nabi Allah, give me some advice, something that will grant me Jannah. Nabi Karim replied to him that what you've asked for is something very important. What you've asked, the question is very important. But, and I shall mention the answer to you, and that is easy for those who Allah allows it to be. Meaning entry into Jannah, and those things that will lead a person to Jannah is easy. But easy for who? For those. What you've asked is about something difficult, but it is easy for those who Allah gives tawfiq. Nabi has mentioned the 5 times salah, fasting in the month of Ramadan, paying the zakat, and doing hajj, and not doing shirk with Allah Ta'ala. Nabi Karim mentioned that those who do these will enter into Jannah. And further Nabi Karim mentions, and I shall give you more detail, Salat is nur, sadaqah is protection from the Sawm is a shield of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sawm junnatun is a shield that it protects you from ma'asiyah. And sadaqah, it protects you from the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then Nabi Karim mentioned, and also then Nabi recited, Tatajafa junubuhum anil madaji yad'un rabbahum khawfan wa tama'a, meaning spending the night in ibadat as well, or a portion of it in ibadat. So this is the characteristics of who? Of the believers. Hence on the day of Qiyamah, before people are resurrected and sent into Jannah, there will be an angel who will proclaim through the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that who are those servants of Allah ta'ala who kept their sides apart from their bed. They will be summoned to stand. And it will just be a small number of people who will stand at that time, and they will be the first ones to be sent into Jannah without any hisab, and thereafter the others will enter into Jannah. Meaning they will be called specifically through this verse, who are those who tatajafa junubuhum anil madaji'. And in this, as I mentioned to you, it refers to those who read the tahajjud salah, and also included in it are those who do whatever ibadat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from after Maghrib till the morning. So it isn't too difficult at all. Yes, the greater reward is in when a person sleeps and then wakes up and remembers Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that person who cannot do such should at least make amal upon the easy way, and that is that after the farz of Isha, to read 2 rakats of Tahajjud. There is 2 ways. One is that a person can read the 2 rakats before they go to sleep. That is also the time of Tahajjud, so you can read it then as well. Although there is a possibility that a person may become lazy at that time, or something else comes about due to which you're too tired or you don't get that opportunity. But one opportunity that a person can make amal upon the entire lives, and they will get the reward of Tahajjud. And that is, after Isha Salat, read 2 rakats, 4 rakats, whatever you want to, with the intention of Tahajjud. Person makes amal upon that, then you will be resurrected as a Tahajjud Guzar, one who was punctual upon Tahajjud. So easy this is. This is something that every person can get the reward of. And even not more than just 2 rakats. Just 2 rakats. And that too, Nabi Kareem sallallahu ta'ala sallam would delay his witr till the end of the night. So he would read his tahajjud and then the witr, which would be the last salah before he would sleep. So the format would be that after the farz of Isha and after the sunan muakkada, do at least minimum 2 rakats of tahajjud, intention of tahajjud, and then do the witr. So at least this way you still get the reward of the format that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam would do. And you go to sleep after Isha, you get the reward of reciting and performing tahajjud. And yes, that person who does have the tawfiq and is able to wake up during the night, then by all means they should do that as well, in a manner as was mentioned in Jummah, where there is that moderation, that not in such a manner that a person wakes up for Tahajjud Salah and then lies down after that and misses the Fajr Salah, that shouldn't be the case either. Or that for the sake of the Tahajjud Salah, throughout the day a person is now, he can't go to work now. He can't wake up for work. Why? Because he woke up for Tahajjud. Throughout the day he can't do any work in that because he woke up for Tahajjud. So now the ibadat of Allah becomes difficult during the day. So it shouldn't be in such a manner. So whatever ibadat a person does, and one of the opinion is of that person who reads the Fajr, Isha Salatul Jamaat and the Fajr Salat as well. And the reward for that itself is of reward of Qiyam anyway. So that would be the Tatajafa Junubuhum Anil Madati. And one riwayat in Tirmizi refers to what? That person who, whenever their eyes open during the night, they do the dhikr of Allah Ta'ala, they remember Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, that will also be included in Tatajafa Junubuhum Anil Madati. And this is also something that we should inculcate, and also something not so difficult, that if a person cannot actually break the sleep, wake up and read the Tahajjud Salah, then at least when the eyes does awaken, or you do sort of turn sides and you alert, just any dhikr of Allah Ta'ala that time. Any dhikr of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala at that time, that will be remembering Allah Ta'ala. So whoever remembers Allah Ta'ala at that time, during the night, they will be included in this as well. So from this we can also gauge the reward of Tahajjud Salah, Tatajafa Junubuhum Anil Madaji, their sides part from their beds. And in one poem that Abdullah bin Rawah had mentioned with regards to Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he mentioned this as well. With regards to Quraysh, that when their leaders are comfortable in their beds, Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is one whose sides are part from his bed. That when they are comfortably sleeping at night of neglect, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's sides are away from the bed. I mean, this is, and as I mentioned, never mind Tahajjud, just for in our time, for a person to wake up for Fajr Salat itself is exactly the same. That this is also difficult, because when you wake up for Tahajjud Salat, you are parting from your beds. Because our Fajr Salat is at a time when it is difficult to wake up. And this is the case throughout the year as well. Yes, in winter you can say that in winter time, Fajr Salat is at the time when you have to wake up. Time of waking up anyway, Fajr Salat is 7 o'clock or so. But other times it is difficult for a person, and that person who does wake up is doing exactly this. They are parting from their beds. And this is a sign of what a person's iman. And what do? يَدَعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ. They make dua to their Rabb. So this also includes the person who just wakes up during the night and does the dhikr of Allah Ta'ala, remembering Allah Ta'ala, khawfun wa tama'an. And they make dua to their Rabb in fear. Khawf, fear for what? His punishment, and wa tama'an, and having hope in the mercy of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So these are the quality of a believer. The quality of a believer is al-imanu bayn al-khawfi wa raja. That a person has fear and a person has hope as well. You have fear. A believer should not be complacent. He still has a fear of the punishment of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, but he recognizes the mercy of Allah Ta'ala. So at the same time he has hope in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the balance, Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala mentions, is that when a person is in young age, at that time a person should have the quality of khawf should be dominant, and then in old age there should be that of mercy in Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. And the reason for this is that if a person is going to just have hope in Allah Ta'ala when they're young and not have that fear, then they'll just do the disobedience for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. Allah Ta'ala is Ghafur, and many, Allah Ta'ala is Ghafur Rahim, Allah Ta'ala is Ghafur Rahim, Allah will forgive, Allah will forgive. So you carry on doing the disobedience for Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So there won't be anything to stop and prevent a person from disobeying Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So in young age, the quality of khawf, the factor of khawf should be dominant in an individual to safeguard and keep a person away from. And as Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam mentioned, الْقَيِّسُ مَنْ دَانَ نَفْسُهُ وَعَمِلَ لِمَا بَعْدَ الْمَوْتِ وَالْعَاجِزُ مَنِ اتَّبَعَ نَفْسُهُ هَوَاهُ وَتَمَنَّى اللَّهَ. That a foolish person is the one who does what? He carries out his desires and he has hope in Allah that Allah is forgiving, Allah is most forgiving. So that shouldn't be the case. And when a person comes in old age, now in old age, this is now when your meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is destined. It's not long now. In that case, do not have the quality of tama, of hope in Allah's mercy. That should be dominant over that of khawf. So at least now you have that more enjoyment, and you look forward to meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that tama, hope should be dominant over that of fear. But both should be in a person's life at all times. Because if a person only has khawf, only khawf the whole time, it will lead towards depression as well. Person can become mentally affected by that, due to which then they become such that they just totally lose hope as well. So much fear that now you don't even have any hope in Allah Ta'ala. That is incorrect, because Allah Ta'ala has mentioned so many places in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala is Ghafurur Rahim. Allah is Ghafurur Rahim, then you should accept that as well. Have that hope in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is what Allah Ta'ala wants from us. That you have the right balance between khawf and tama. And then the other quality of the believers is that وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and they spend from that which we have provided for them, meaning that they give in charity as well. So it isn't just the bodily ibadah that they do, but it is also the monetary ibadah that they do as well. It is not just the sides that they separate from their beds, that sacrifice, but they sacrifice the money from their wallets as well. They give in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ. And this just reminds me as well that everybody is talking about what? Inflation. Times are hard, and inflation, which is true. It is a form of a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where people are struggling and people are genuinely talking about the difficulty that they are in. And one of the effects of that is that people will not want to spend in charity as well. The effect of that is that the person will not want to give in charity as well. So because of the condition that we are in, people will find it difficult to give in charity. That we're struggling, so when we're struggling, then, we can't really give charity as well, we don't have much to give in charity. So because of that, a person may think twice giving in charity, or a person will give very little, or not give at all. Whereas that isn't the solution. The solution when things are tight and difficult is to give in charity. But not to give in charity in such a manner that now you're going to bring upon you more difficulty that you just give without thinking as well. No, that doesn't mean that. But to give in charity will bring to you as well. As the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Sayyidina Asma radiallahu ta'ala, La tu'wi. Don't give stingily, meaning counting in that. If you do, Allah will deal with you in the same manner as well. Allah will do the same with you as well. Give openly. If you do that, Allah will give you openly as well. Anfiq yunfiq alayk, Nabi said to Samila. Spend, Allah Ta'ala will spend upon you as well. So this is what we want, isn't it? We want that there should be increase in our barakat, in our wealth. And that we are struggling, difficult to make ends meet. So the solution to that is give in the way of Allah. Don't stop giving in charity. That which you were able to give, if you cannot give that amount, okay, reduce that amount, but do not stop giving in charity. Person should not think during these times that we can't give. Whatever standing orders or direct debits we may have to the masjid or the charities, and that, look, we need to now cut down on that. That's like £5 a month, £10 a month, or £5 every Jummah going or so, which accumulates to £40 to £50 maybe a month. So we might start putting that in our calculation as well, because there might be those who need to now see, look, what are my expenses, where can I cut down upon? And when a person starts looking at where we can cut down upon, the first thing that will come to mind is those charities that we give, in the sadaqah that we give, not that these are the first ones we need to cut down. No. As far as possible, make those the last. Those will cut down on, but all the subscriptions that we have, those will remain, isn't it? This channel, that channel, and this and that subscriptions, and that can go ZTV or Netflix and Amazon, all these other subscriptions, no, those cannot, those have to remain. We can't cut down on that. Okay, cut down on one, but keep the other one. So these we won't cut down. Whereas these are the ones that are reducing the barakat in our sustenance. And these are the ones that we need to, even when there is a difficulty in hardship, and that cut down on that, you will find there will be barakat in your sustenance. Because that is what's taking your barakat away from your wealth, and that is what's taking away barakat from your time as well. Because all those subscriptions, that is taking your time, because your Jafa Junubum is in what? On these movies and all these things, there we find to stay awake the entire night, or wake up during the night as well. So in this way, a person should not fear. If a person is in that condition that they need to reduce, but do not stop giving in charity. And if you have that courage to maintain it the way it is, definitely Allah Ta'ala will give. And one of the point is, giving in charity is not just giving charity as in a charitable organization. Whatever a person spends on their family members, this is sadaqah. What you spend on your family members, this is sadaqah as well. Meaning, avoid cutting down on that. If you are able to do so, you will still get barakat. Yes, there is the fuzul, extravagance, which you can by all means cut down on. And one of the biggest extravagance is the eating out. That's one of the biggest extravagance is eating out. Takeaways. Each meal, those who do are aware of how much it does cost an individual and how much barakat that your barakat goes from that as it is. That which you can, the amount a person spends just on 2 burger meals, you can get a handful of chicken for that amount and cook a good meal for so many. The amount you spend on 2-3 people's takeout, the same amount if you were to buy food and cook that at home, you'd be able to feed so many. So this is how a person can adjust to matters as well. And spending upon your own family members, this brings about barakat as well. As I said, spending in the way of Allah Ta'ala, and sometimes we don't realize that, look, spending on our own family members, that is sadaqah as it is. So do not cut down on that you feel that, look, I was helping a relative in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or even locally. Now cutting down, it means, look, I need to cut down on that person. No. Don't cut down on that if you are able to do so. As that will maintain barakat. That will maintain barakat for you. Sayyidina Sa'd ibn Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala once, he showed a bit of superiority of his condition over another person who wasn't so well off as him. To which Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, that how do you know? Allah Ta'ala is giving you risk because of that person. Allah Ta'ala is giving you risk because of that person. So if you are actually supporting and maintaining a family member, for example, a relative or a charity for that matter, don't cut down on that. Because Allah Ta'ala is giving you because of helping that person. Because of that person, Allah is making you the means of helping that person. Don't cut that down. Because Allah is giving you for that purpose. So maintain that, and Allah Ta'ala will maintain and give you risk. And sometimes a person may think, but I am doing charity, I am doing these type of good deeds as well. I'm reading, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But there is no increase in wealth. You have some maybe wazifas and duas, and you say, I'm reading this my entire life and there's no increase in my wealth. But at the same time, there's no decrease as well. So this is how it works. These good deeds either work in a manner wherein, yes, Allah Ta'ala will increase and give you. In the month of Ramadan, somebody gave a certain amount in lillah. And then that person came back with another amount. And he said that when I came the first time and gave that in lillah, Allah Ta'ala gave me triple than that. Triple than that came. I wasn't expecting, and that came. So from that, he took another portion out and he came and gave that as lillah as well. So there are those who experience this type as well. So one is the zahiri barakat in rizq, And the other is that if you are not experiencing that, the fact that you are not going into minus, and you are you are stable, you are able to maintain what you are, this is also the barakat of this as well. That you are. So you may not seeing the zahir, but the fact that Allah is not putting you in hardship. And the other most important thing is that yes, there are those who are struggling. There are those who are struggling, there are Muslims who are struggling. Recently somebody was mentioning as well, that there are many food banks, and a lot of our Muslims are in need of the food bank facilities that are available at the moment. So not just non-Muslims, a lot of Muslims are in the hardship and difficulty as well. If we are not in that condition as yet, again we should show gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we have not directly been affected in that sense. We are still able to eat and we are not dependent on others. It's a great bounty, show shukr to Allah ta'ala. And if we are in that condition, try and assist and help those who aren't in that condition, whether it's food banks or other forms of charity or so. So Allah Ta'ala mentions, وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, and they spend from that which we have provided for them. فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Now coming to the reward of those who believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Ta'ala says that فَلَا تَعْلَمُ نَفْسٌ, no soul knows مَا أُخْفِيَ لَهُم, what pleasures are hidden for him, مِّن قُرَّةِ أَعْيُنٍ, as a reward for the deeds that he has done. جَزَاءً بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. So nobody knows ma ukhfiya lahum min qurrati ayn. Qurrat ayn means what brings coolness to the eyes, meaning what pleasures are hidden for him, meaning Jannah. As Nabi Karim mentioned in the Hadith Qudsi, Allah mentioned, "A'atu ribali salihin ma la aynun ra'at wa la uzun sami'at wa la khatar ala qalbin bashar." That Allah says, "I prepared for my servants that which no eye has seen, no ear has heard of, and no heart or soul has perceived." And that is what Jannah. That no matter how much you try and in another riwayat, Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Hadith Qudsi as well, that Jannah is far beyond whatever we can even imagine of. Far beyond that as well, what we can ever imagine of. That's what Allah Ta'ala says, that no soul knows what pleasure is hidden for him. Because if he knew of it, that enjoyment won't be there, because you already have that anticipation. And already in that anticipation, you already get a taste of that enjoyment. And Jannah is going to be wherein no idea whatsoever of how great it's going to be, and that is the reward that Allah said, "Jazā'an bimā kānū ya'malūn," as a reward for the deeds that he carries out. Shows that our amal that we do here, look at what great jazā Allah Ta'ala has promised for us. أَفَمَنْ كَانَ مُؤْمِنًا كَمَنْ كَانَ فَاسِقًا لَا يَسْتَوُونَ. Can he who has iman be like a fasiq, a sinner? لَا يَسْتَوُونَ. They never can be. Meaning they can never be the same. Because the mu'min will enjoy eternal pleasures in Jannah, whereas the one who doesn't have iman, for him is the opposite. For them is eternal punishment in Jannah, in Jahannam. On this basis, Allah Ta'ala says the mu'min and the fasiq can't be the same. Otherwise, what's the difference? If the reward in the akhirat is going to be similar, or the punishment and the reward are not going to be such a great difference, then one will think that why exert ourselves so much here? But there's a big difference. The one who has iman and the one who is a sinner, there's a big difference. La yastawun, they'll never be the same at all. And for a believer is what? Khulud. When a believer goes to Jannah, he'll be in Jannah forever. And that disbeliever who goes to Jahannam will be in Jahannam forever. No respite whatsoever. Yes, a person who goes to Jahannam but has iman will still be taken out and go to Jannah. But the one who doesn't have iman, forever and ever. أَمَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ فَلَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ الْمَأْوَى نُزُلًا بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. As for the one who has iman, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and who does good deeds, فَلَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ الْمَأْوَى نُزُلًا بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. Allah Ta'ala says for them is going to be what? For them is فَلَهُمْ جَنَّاتُ الْمَأْوَى. There'll be the Jannat of Ma'wa, means place of reciting, meaning rest. For them will be the Jannat of rest. Because of what? Because the Amal Salihah that they had done. And this is Nuzulam bima kanu ya'malun, as hospitality for the deeds that they had carried out. So as for those who have iman, and who do good deeds, Allah says, as hospitality for them, there shall be Jannat of rest because of the goods that they had carried out. And here Allah doesn't just say Iman, but Allah says, الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, which shows us the importance of Amal Salihah. The importance of Amal Salihah. So Iman and Amal Salihah. And not just Amal Salihah without Iman is not good enough. And just Iman and no Amal Salihah, that is not going to be enough either. It needs to be Iman and Amal Salihah. Jannatul Ma'wa means Jannat of rest. So means in Jannat, there won't be any having to stay awake from Maghrib to Isha and then worry about waking up for Fajr Salah. There won't be any fasting there. There will be all the food of Jannat, and we all have food of Jannat. The month of Ramadan is going to come. That is going to be so testing and difficult as well. No. Now we finish. No ibadat for you, nothing upon you, obligatory upon you. Jannatul Ma'wa. You didn't rest here in this world, so rest now in the hereafter. And who enjoys rest? The one who slept the whole day. They'll become restless now. They're not going to enjoy sleeping easily. Who enjoys rest? The one who's the work. And because they've worked, they're tired. Now they enjoy the rest and they lie down and they feel the enjoyment of rest, isn't it? So same here. Jannatul Ma'wa, who's going to enjoy it? Those who did the ibadat of Allah Ta'ala here, when they put into the grave, when they go in the Akhirat, they're going to enjoy it. So it will be a place of rest. وَأَمَّا الَّذِينَ فَسَقُوا, whereas for those who are sinful, فَمَأْوَاهُمُ النَّارِ, their abode shall be the fire of Jahannam. كُلَّمَا أَرَادُوا أَن يَخْرُجُوا مِنْهَا أُعِيدُوا فِيهَا, each time they attempt to come out from it, أُعِيدُوا فِيهَا, they'll be returned to it. وَقِيلَ لَهُمْ, and it will be said to them, because they are the angels who are appointed on the entrance and the gates of the fire of Jahannam. So if there is any who tries to escape from there, means there will be no escape from Jannah. So there won't be the great escape. There will be no great escape from the fire of Jannah. Plot and plan as much as possible, there won't be any escape. Allah save us all. وَعِيدُوا فِيهَا, they'll be thrown back into it again. وَقِيلَ لَهُمْ, and it will be said to them, ذُوقُوا عَذَابَ النَّارِ, taste of the punishment of the fire, الَّذِي كُنْتُمْ بِهِ تُكَذِّبُونَ, of which you used to deny. This is that same punishment that you used to deny in this world, now taste that punishment. You had enough life, 70, 80, 90 years, even more or less. Why did you still deny it? And now taste from the azab that you had denied. Again, this is the value of Iman, my dear friends. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect us and save us from this type of azab and punishment and anger and wrath of His. وَلَنُذِيقَنَّهُمْ مِنَ الْعَذَابِ الْأَدْنَى دُونَ الْعَذَابِ الْأَكْبَرِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. Allah says, وَلَنُذِيقَنَّهُمْ, we shall definitely let them taste مِنَ الْعَذَابِ الْأَدْنَى. Azab al-adna meaning aqrab. That punishment which is closer to them, دُونَ الْعَذَابِ الْأَكْبَرِ, before the greater punishment. And why? So that لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. The azab al-adna, the lesser punishment, refers was punishment in this world. And the azab al-akbar refers was the punishment in the hereafter. So Allah says we should definitely let them taste the closer, meaning punishment here in this world, before the other one, meaning the one in Akhirat. Why? So that لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ, so that they may return. We shows as well that for a believer, hardship, difficulty, this azab adna is in actual fact a rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? So that لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. Meaning if any hardship befalls a person, and because of that hardship person returns to Allah ta'ala, that hardship is what? It is a rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And for those who do not return to Allah ta'ala, for them that is the azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For them it is in the case of لَعَلَّهُمْ يَرْجِعُونَ. So every musibah is not a punishment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every musibah is not a musibah. There is that musibah which actually returns, brings a person onto the path of iman and righteousness. For them that musibah in actual fact is rahmah in disguise. And for those who it doesn't, then for them it is double azab. What is a double azab? One is azab al-adna. punishment here in this world, and which is just a taster of what azab al-akbari, of the punishment of the hereafter. So for them it's double azab. And for those who that difficulty changed their lives, they made tawbah, they brought iman, and if they are believers, they made tawbah, so they saved from the azab al-akbar. So for them it is just the one azab, which is azab al-adna, which in actual fact wasn't azab, because it turns out to be the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala save us all from any form of azab of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, keep us with iman and afiyat, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala safeguard us all from the fire of Jahannam, and make us all from those who do have iman and do amal salihah, and grant us all jannatul ma'wa. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.